Hi everybody, it's Paralympian Jake Templeton here from Australia, and in this week's swimming related information video, I'm going to be talking about a great way to improve on your endurance, your fitness and your aerobic capacity. Now, I know many people go for a swim or a run or a ride, whatever it is, every single day or every week for a long period of time, and do the same thing. And really think that they're going to improve their fitness just because they're doing something at a low level, the same intensity all the time for hours on end. Now, you'll be very fit. You'll have a great aerobic base in that modality of exercise that you're doing it at. But at the same time, if I was to ask you to go a little harder, then perhaps you might fatigue quite quickly. You'll get very comfortable and good at what you do. So if you are doing that, if you do love to do things at a low intensity for a long time and you want to get fit or fitter, then perhaps apply some overload in there at a sensible rate to see improvements if you're doing it by that modality. Now, my tip and my great way, or I believe it's a great way to improve your endurance, is to boost your lactate threshold, your anaerobic threshold. Now, you might be asking what this is, but it will provide a change up, and I'll go into it in a second, but it will provide a change up from the monotonous training you might be doing. It'll give you a bit of a spark. It might be fatiguing at times, but also just remember to ensure that you're exercising to your own intensity. I know many people can't just go really, really hard. They need that exercise clearance first. So make sure you know what you're doing. But a lactate threshold or the anaerobic threshold is the exercise intensity at which your lactic acid accumulation equals your lactic acid removal. So a little bit more on that. You know the feeling of running a 400-meter running race or swimming a 100-meter freestyle as fast as you possibly can. You know that uncomfortable feeling. You'll feel heavy. You can't do it forever. It's a really sickening feeling at times. Now, this is because you've got an acidic environment in the muscles that you're using, which is an accumulation of lactic acid. Now, at this exercise intensity, you've accumulated lactate at a greater rate than you could have possibly removed it. Now, in this intensity, you're exercising above your lactate threshold. Now, if you're just going for a run around the block at a really easy rate, you'll still be producing lactic acid, but you'll be removing it at a faster rate, at a better, more efficient rate than you are producing it. So you're exercising below your lactate threshold. Now, the lactic threshold or the anaerobic threshold is the middle ground. It's the exercise intensity at which lactic acid production equals lactic acid removal. So keep that in mind. So if you can shift that lactate threshold, you can exercise at this intensity that was previously your lactate threshold without tipping over the edge. You're not going over the edge and getting that exponential influx of lactic acid. So you're going at a rate that was previously quite a challenge for you, but you're doing that now, and you can do that for quite a while. Similarly, you could exercise at an intensity which was just below your lactate threshold previously, for example, for a very long time now because you've made that shift upwards. So one great way to do this is interval training. So you don't have to go out and do 100 intervals of 10 minutes just to achieve this increase in lactate threshold, or you don't have to go at 110% all the time. I just recommend that you exercise, if you're doing intervals, to start with at a rate above your lactate threshold. So by doing, 5 or so 1 or 2 minute intervals where you're going pretty hard, and like I said, make sure that you're specific and you're not overdoing it. Make sure you know how hard you can work personally. But by doing this, having a focus on trying to produce lactic acid and also allow yourself some recovery so you can keep having that work output at a great level. You don't want to back off so that all of a sudden you've gone way too hard and then you have to drop your intensity. So you're now all of a sudden just going really easy. You want to maintain that high level of intensity and you don't want to do it all the time as well. Elite athletes don't do this type of training every single day. It's something that it's spaced out throughout the week, where perhaps this is done a couple of times a week. So it doesn't have to be done every single day. But keep it in mind, by boosting your lactate threshold, by doing specific training rather than monotonous, easy training all the time, which is great. At least you're being fit. You're doing something to keep active, and it's a great way of improving that aerobic base. But if you want to have great shifts in your endurance, if you're serious about getting much fitter, improving on that capacity by a lot, then this is a great way to do so. So I hope you've enjoyed my video. For more information, head to my website, www.jakebtempleton.com. Cheers.